had the momentum-based platforming of Sonic the Hedgehog, the precise jump and shoot of Mega Man, and the chaotic twitch-reflex of Contra. They were more than just the most popular games of the 8-bit and 16-bit generations. They were the templates that many games follow to this day. Although many of them are just clones that ride their coattails, the games on this list are innovators. So here are 13 side-scrollers that feel like Lost Sonic, Mega Man, and Contra sequels. Freedom Planet 2014. This game began as a Sonic fan game actually. Developed by Galaxy Trail, Freedom Planet evolved from a ROM hack concept into an original IP, and in doing so, created a Sonic quality game that was able to marry high-speed platforming with combat. The physics system nails the same feeling as the one from the Genesis Sonic games, with inertia increasing and decreasing when you go up and down slopes or walls, and bleeding when you do tricks and loops. The main character, Lilac, replaces the spin attack with a whip attack. That, combined with the multi-directional dash, can turn this into a high-speed brawler where you juke and outposition enemies while traveling at high speeds. Unlike Sonic, where your best bet is to just avoid enemies, here being aggressive and destroying enemies while moving at high speeds is encouraged. And the sprite work here is brilliant, looking like a high-end 2D game on a 32-bit machine, with all the detailed sprite work and size. Combined with a great synth rock track and fully voice-acted cutscenes, it looks like a high-budget classic from the mid-90s. Spark the Electric Jester 2017. If Freedom Planet takes inspiration from the Saturn games, then Spark the Electric Jester takes inspiration from Sonic Advance for the GBA, along with some Kirby Superstar mixed in. Created by Lake Feppard, this game takes the core momentum-based physics of Sonic, where you can run up walls, launch from ramps, and do loops, and add a changeable ability system that's similar to Kirby. If you get the wide power-up, you become the Wind Jester, with aerial abilities like air dash, floating, and triple jump. The edgy Jester has a sword and can throw shurikens, and is able to climb walls. These power-ups completely changes how the game is played, and allows for a greater variety in gameplay, combat, and puzzle solving. The levels are designed around speedrunning flow, where you're meant to tear through them without stopping. No exploration, no collecting. You're meant to utilize the dash, a single button that gives you instant speed at any time, to keep momentum and your speed as much as possible. Accompanied by a high BPM breakbeat heavy soundtrack, you really gotta go fast with this one. Berserk Boy 2024. If you took the dash mechanics from Mega Man X, the form changing from Mega Man ZX, and added in a pinch of Sonic speed, you'd get Berserk Boy. The way this game is able to have the combat and platforming synergize with each other is amazing, because you actually increase and maintain speed by attacking enemies. You have the ability to swap between elemental forms, lightning, fire, earth, air, and ice. On the fly, the game is built around a dash-through mechanic where hitting an enemy bounces you forward or resets your air options. This allows skilled players to traverse entire levels without ever touching the ground, chaining attacks, air dashes, and form swaps into a fluid combo that you can continue almost endlessly. The artwork is neo-retro, using modern technology and techniques to evoke the retro aesthetic, especially of the 2D PS1 games, while still feeling and looking modern. The soundtrack was composed by T. Lopez, the man behind the music of Sonic Mania. This is equal parts combat and speed, rather than the speed with a side of combat that most other games on this list have. Gravity Circuit 2023. As much as I love the shooting and jumping of the mainline Mega Man games, Mega Man Zero is one of my favorites, not just for the story, but also how it handles gameplay, and Gravity Circuit expresses that perfectly. The central mechanic is the Gravity Circuit, a grappling hook that adds a layer of fluid mobility to the standard platforming. I mean, who doesn't love a good grappling hook in games? And this one isn't just good, it's dynamic and fluid, allowing you to change trajectories and chain together aerial movement. You can also grapple enemies and pull them towards you, Scorpion style. The combat is also strictly melee focused, where you chain punches, kicks, and throws to build up burst energy, which you then spend on screen clearing special moves. Visually, it takes the design decisions of the SNES games and the limited color palette makes it high-definition, multi-layered, with modern-style UI, effects, and animations. The circuit system allows for deep customization, basically the chips in Mega Man X allowing you to tweak your playstyle to fit what you need. .30XX 2023. Have you ever thought, man, I love Mega Man X, I wish I could play it endlessly? Well, .30XX is your answer. Developed by Battery Staple Games, this is the sequel to 20XX with a jump in visual fidelity and mechanical tightness. It is effectively a procedural engine designed to generate infinite Mega Man X stages forever. It takes the Mega Man X formula and turns it into a roguelike, and to be frank, it's quite genius. Each run is composed of different developer-designed chunks that are mashed together to form a level, with a boss at the end. The chunk generation isn't the only thing that's procedural, as the enemy placement is decided by an algorithm, and even the bosses have randomized abilities, movesets, and timings. It also has co-op, where one of you plays as Nina, the X-style shooter, and the other as Ace, the Zero-style swordsman. The visuals have the high fidelity of X5 and beyond, with very fluid animations and extremely vivid and detailed backgrounds. Vengeful Guardian, Moon Rider 2023. The Genesis was considered to be more mature and cooler than the SNES because it had grittier, edgier action games, and Vengeful Guardian Moon Rider channeled that energy. Developed by Joy Masher, who also made Blazing Chrome, this game doesn't just look like a 16-bit Genesis game, it feels and plays like a lost Genesis cartridge. While the design might make you think it's inspired by Strider or Shinobi, actually playing it definitely feels like Mega Man X or ZX. You play as a cyborg ninja who has turned against his creators fighting the totalitarian regime that has conquered most of humanity. Combat is tactical and deliberate. You have to precisely execute your sword slashes, jumps, and weave through enemies. The modifier chip system allows you to customize your playstyle, basically the chips from Mega Man X granting abilities like health regeneration, double jumps, or extreme ones like the glass cannon mode that increases damage but kills you in one hit. With a limited color palette and optional CRT filter, this game nails the visual output of the Genesis. Cyber Shadow 2021. Shovel Knight showed us what could be done if you made an 8-bit game with modern design, but Cyber Shadow completely fleshes out that concept, creating a perfect 8-bit game. Published by Yacht Club Games and developed by Mecha Skull, this game is basically if Ninja Gaiden had a baby with Mega Man, with the level design of Metroid and some Sonic speed thrown in. You start with a basic jump and slash, but as you defeat chapter bosses, you unlock permanent ninjutsu abilities, shurikens, wall runs, dashing strikes, etc. in a sort of Metroidvania-like. So late in-game, you're chaining together abilities to stay airborne, slicing through enemies, and going high speed and never stopping. It adheres to strict 8-bit limitations, but without flickering or slowdown. They artfully utilize blacks and artful dithering techniques to create a shadowy world that feels large and deep. When you come back to the beginning areas after being fully upgraded and easily slicing and dashing your way through areas you were slower and methodically navigating before. It is one of the best power trip feelings any game can have. Extermination Force 2019. Many people say that the best part of Contra was its creative, multi-stage screen-filling bosses, and Extermination Force agrees, as it delivers nothing but creative multi-stage screen-filling bosses. Developed by the creator of Gunman Clive, the unique hook here is that you don't just run around and shoot the bosses, you have to climb them. These mechs are often larger than the entire screen, and you can already see how small the player character is compared to them. So to beat them, you have to climb all around their bodies like a 2D Shadow of the Colossus, reaching your weak points while trying to dodge their attacks and try not to fall off. It combines combat with puzzle solving and parkour or platforming together, all at the same time. While it is 3D and uses 3D models, the gameplay is strictly 2D. This choice allows for a sense of scale that's difficult to achieve with sprites. The camera zooms in and out dynamically, panning to show the gargantuan size of the mega mechs as your tiny speck of a character climbs all over them. Blazing Chrome 2019. If you wish that there was a sequel to Contra Hard Course, then Blazing Chrome is it. It took what made Hard Course good and expanded on it every way. The gameplay is pure arcade action, with no grinding, no leveling, nor collecting. Just the relentless onslaught of enemies you have to shoot your way through. There is a variety of gameplay to mix things up. You'd be traveling on foot, running and gunning, then next is a hoverbike segment, and later on you're piloting a giant mech that punches and stomps its way through the enemies. It features two main characters, Mavra, the agile, resistant fighter, and Doyle, the heavy Terminator-esque robot, which also allows for two-player co-op. It captures that distinct hard and campy look of 80s and 90s action hero movies, with scrap-filled Mad Max wastes and rusty Judge Dredd techno cities. Oh, and this game does have that Contra difficulty. You'll be pinned down by ambushes and be overwhelmed by enemy fire, so be ready for that. Iron Meat 2024. You know the type of people who listen to 80s metal and talk about how life was freer and wild in the 90s? Well, this feels like it's made specifically for that demographic. It has the same feel as Contra and Super Contra, but the setting feels like a world taken over by the Thing, or the Upside Down from Stranger Things. Introducing the Meat. This parasitic biomass infects everything in the world. You aren't fighting cars and tanks, but cars and tanks with teeth and legs. Fodder enemies are just mutated corpse husks, and bosses are large pieces of machinery that are dripping with blood and bound in sinew. The gameplay remains faithful to the classic 8-way shooting of Contra, with spread guns, rapid fire, and bombs, but the feedback is enhanced by the amount of flesh and blood being blasted away with every shot. The rendering brings the flesh to life with fluid, organic animations and a detailed, fleshy art style. It creates a unique world with unique monsters and unique opportunities for maximum carnage.
Lovely. Just outside. We require
Huntown 2020. The most cinematic and detailed game on this list. This game really does feel like a playable movie. Taking inspiration from Contra, Huntown is slower and has tactical cover-based shooting that they have managed to master in 2D. You can't just hold a fire button and to run right. You have to slide behind crates, duck into doorways to dodge gunfire, and switch between weapons strategically, and the different weapons have different tactical utility. Shotguns create space, machine guns suppress enemies, and you need to carefully decide how to use grenades for the most effect. It's empowering without the mindless shooting that usually comes with it. Visually, it's the best looking game on this entire list, period. The pixel art is masterfully hand-drawn and there are tons of smooth animations everywhere. The cutscenes are drawn well and there are lots of specific one-off animations, like the hoverbikes making a full animated turn instead of just flipping on the Y-axis. Door Kickers Action Squad 2018. Tactical SWAT action and 2D side-scrolling shooter aren't two things that seem to go well together, but Door Kickers Action Squad manages to pull it off. The gameplay loop is cerebral and unique. Instead of just running and gunning, you have to approach doors, assess the threat level, and choose your entry gear. Flashbangs, breaching charges, or a simple kick, and execute the room clear without killing the hostages inside. It's like Contra meets SWAT. The class system, with a shield, assaulter, breacher, sniper, and off-duty guy, who is literally a guy who dual-wields pistols in his underwear, adds different options and lends well to the co-op. The art style uses a, for lack of a better term, thin, chibi pixel style that keeps things readable while filling the screen with enemies, objects, and complex environments. Speaking of, the environments are highly reactive. Walls crumble, windows shatter, and gas tanks explode with satisfying particle effects. With lens distortion and so many particles and blood effects, this game is surprisingly visceral. Bleed 2 2017. Bleed 2 takes the side-scrolling shooter and adds Matrix-style slow motion and Ikaruga-style bullet hell. This is a colorful and cartoony action sack with high-caliber acrobatics. The unique core gameplay is the air dashing, allowing you freeform air traversal for a few seconds, weaving like a worm through the hail of bullets. Combine that with a slow motion ability, it'll feel like the best Matrix game we've ever had. There is also your sword slash, which allows you to reflect pink projectiles Ikaruga style, so you aren't just dodging projectiles and shooting back, you have to position yourself in front of the right enemy projectiles and smack them back, which makes for very fun and interesting boss battles that require full screen awareness and proper positioning to win. The game is short, but that is by design. There is zero downtime. Every single level is a set piece and you're fighting a boss almost every 2 minutes. The game is constantly throwing new things at you. You'll never get tired or bored playing through it. And those folks were the 13 games that showed that Sonic, Mega Man, and Contra weren't just popular franchises. They're gaming genres that still can be explored, innovated on, and expanded. It also goes to show that although these franchises seem doomed and abandoned, you don't need the corporation behind the trademark game to keep making those games that you love. Indie devs are here picking up that slack. Let us know your thoughts on what side-scrollers you'd feel would best match Sonic, Mega Man, or Contra that we forgot to include on this list. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. This is John of Marvelous Gamers, and we'll see you on the next video.